It's Kilo Juliet 4 Romeo Echo Zulu.
Kilo Juliet 4 Romeo Echo Zulu, roger.
Kilo Juliet 4 Romeo Echo Zulu, roger.
Roger, roger. I'll keep this really quick. I just wanted to know what my transmit bandwidth was. There's nothing we can really do with our audio. We tried that a couple months ago with you. But I was curious what the bandwidth was. Somebody was telling me it's 2.4. Other people tell me it's 2.8.
Roger, I really can't advise on that. It sounds good to me. I don't know. You might be just a little bit too much compression. I would pull that compressor back to a 3. What radio is that, sir?
Pull that compressor back to a 3. What radio is that, sir?
It's the 706. I don't even have the compression on. We've already been through all there's not much with this radio. It's very basic. It's 25 years old. But a couple people dog me because they say the bandwidth is too narrow, so that's why I was curious.
Oh, well, you know, in their imagination, it sounds beautiful to me. I mean, you're very clean audio. And good curve to me. So, you know, I'm not sure exactly what their problem is, but I don't think you have to be out to 3KC necessarily. Some radios, older radios, might be 2.4s, 2.6, 2.8, and with a little equalization, you know, you can solve a lot of those problems as far as getting a very articulated audio. I mean, those radios are just prime for outboard processing equipment, you know, like you could go mic preamp along with a condenser microphone or electret microphone into a 7-band EQ on into the radio, and that would give you, as clean as your radio sounds right now, that would give you just a beautiful, beautiful signal, Roger.
That would give you just a beautiful, beautiful signal, Roger.
Roger, roger. Yeah, there's one I've been looking at. I think it's a 5-band or maybe a 7-band, and it's made for this radio. And it's only about $89. I didn't know if it would be worth the investment. I may go ahead and get it and try it out because that's about all I could do is use an outboard EQ. All right, well, I won't hold you up. I know there's a lot of people that want to get in there with you, and thankfully today we don't have a corner in there, so hopefully that holds out. All right, Jim, you have a great weekend and happy Easter. Kilo Juliet 4 Romeo Echo Zulu. Thanks again, 7-3.
Roger, Romeo Echo Zulu. What is the name there?
Roger, Romeo Echo Zulu. What is the name there?
It's Floyd in South Carolina.
Roger, and I'm just curious, that radio does not have a compressor, Roger?
That radio does not have a compressor, Roger?
It does, but it makes everything worse. I don't know if you remember a couple months ago we were talking, you got to get inside the radio with a screwdriver to play with it, and it has an amplified ICOM desk mic, so I don't even run the compressor.
Roger, well, there is some compression going on, and I think since you do not have your compressor engaged, it must be that you're hitting your ALC fairly warm. What is your current mic gain setting?
What is your current mic gain setting?
I think it's at an 8. Hold on, I can bring it up.
No, don't bring it up, but just give me the number. And 8 out of what?
Bring it up, but just give me the number. And 8 out of what?
Yeah, I mean, even though this radio is 25 years old, it's all menu-driven. It's set on number 7. I'm going to drop it back to a 6. KJ4REZ.
All right, give me a dead key for 3. Don't say anything, just key for 3.
Dead key for 3. Don't say anything, just key for 3.
Yeah, there's some compression going on there somewhere. Definitely is. Take your mic gain to a 5. Mic gain 5, and let's see what goes on.
Mic gain 5, and let's see what goes on.
Oh, you know what you're picking up? When I transmit, the fan goes in turbo mode on the radio. It's pretty loud.
No, this is compression. I can hear it in your audio. So just out of curiosity, if you could, I tell you what, put your mic gain on a 4. Put your mic gain on a 4, and let's just have an experiment here.
Put your mic gain on a 4, and let's just have an experiment here.
Okay, that is on number 4, KJ4REZ.
I like your audio much better at a 4 than a 7. You were just kind of blurry. You know, to perceive words, we need a certain degree of dynamic range. I have found 3 dB dynamic range is right at the point of being able to perceive the word well. When you continue to drive things and close that dynamic range, things start to get blurry. So a case in point would be if you had no dynamic range, if you had your mic up there at 2,000% and were speaking and, overdriven, you would have no dynamic range and the words would be extremely blurry. So what we're doing is a compromise here. As we pull off that gain, we're letting that dynamic range increase till we get to about 3 dB. And that I've found to be the perfect place for the amount of the fullness of the audio versus the intelligibility. Roger?
So the audio versus the intelligibility. Roger?
Roger. Okay. Yeah, I've never run it this low. Yeah, the ALC is going about halfway, I guess, now that I'm looking at it. All right, I'll hit set on the menu right here, and I'll just leave it on number 4.
Yes, sir, I would do that. And then I would also try to get a little more physical distance separation between your power amp or wherever the blower is and your mic. Can you extend the distance between those two fairly easily?
Extend the distance between those two fairly easily?
It's actually the radio. The radio's had been modified. It does 200 watts, a little over 200 watts. And it's a tiny, tiny little radio, if you're familiar with the ICOM 706. So putting out that much power, it's got to have a heavy fan. So it's just probably a foot and a half away from the radio, and it's just a loud fan when I key up.
Oh, Roger. Now, you're running a desk mic. Is that a Roger?
Oh, Roger. Now, you're running a desk mic. Is that a Roger?
Yeah, the SM5 ICOM desk mic. It is amplified.
Okay, and I'm assuming that the back of the mic is facing the radio. Is that a Roger?
The back of the mic is facing the radio. Is that a Roger?
Yeah, the radio's at the back of the desk and the microphone is all the way at the front.
Roger. Well, gosh, have you ever thought about a shroud over your blower intake that would be more amenable to a forward decibel projection of the blower? That it would insulate the sound and suck air from the back as opposed to up front where it's emitting noise. Even a cardboard shroud that would work on the audio as far as lowering the level that the mic is picking up.
As far as lowering the level that the mic is picking up.
Tell you what, I just slid back in my chair and I'm holding the microphone. Now I'm probably 2.5 feet away from the radio.
Roger, well, that's about, you're about 10% of the noise that you were the other way, Roger. So I like it much better that way. Of course, you have to have long arms to work it, I guess.
You have to have long arms to work it, I guess.
Roger. All right, Jim, well, I'll let you go. And I'll see, it's not going to be easy to get rid of that noise because that fan is internal. And I think it would, I don't know, it's only got 2 little tiny vents. It's a really, really small radio. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get rid of that noise. But turning the mic gain down, I'm sure it helped tremendously.
Yes, sir, and your audio level is the same. It's not quite as dynamic range-wise. It's about 3 dB now where I was looking for. Before you were about 1 dB or 1.5 to somewhere in there. It was considerably compressed, but now it's got a little life to it, and sounds a lot better, I think. You be the judge. If you go to YouTube, do the call letter search KC9VKV, followed by today's date 4221, and that will take you to your recording. Roger.
That will take you to your recording. Roger.
Roger, Roger. All right, Jim. I'll let you go, and thank you again for your help. You have a wonderful weekend. Kilo Juliet 4, Romeo Echo Zulu 73.
Roger, and I just had another thought, Floyd. The other alternative would be a hand mic, where you could move up onto the hand mic. And as I'm talking, what is your distance from your mouth to your desk mic?
From your mouth to your desk mic?
5-6 inches.
Well, that's, 2 inches away, 3 inches away would probably really help as far as being able to overcome your signal-to-noise ratio mic-wise. That would be further turning your mic gain down to maybe 2 or 3 as you get to about 3 inches away from your mic. It's all relative. That mic is, the closer you work it, the better the signal-to-noise ratio. Roger?
The better the signal-to-noise ratio. Roger?
Roger. Well, now I'm about an inch or so away from the microphone, and I turned it down to a 3.
Oh, wow. Man, that really sounds good. That sounds excellent. Now, you were closer to the radio than 7 miles away that time, right?
To the radio than 7 miles away that time, right?
Yeah, I put the microphone back on the desk where it was in the beginning because that's just where I keep it. But I've actually just moved closer to the microphone, with my face. So now I'm not 5 inches away from it anymore.
Yes, sir. I would run it that way because, that blower is way in the background there. Before it was kind of a dominant thing, but right now it's way back. So I would run it just like that, Roger.
Right now it's way back. So I would run it just like that, Roger.
Should I turn it down to a 2?
Check that, yeah. Do a 2 and let me hear you.
Check that, yeah. Do a 2 and let me hear you.
Okay, that's at the top of a 2. There's like a little bit of play in between each one. Now the ALC is not moving very much. Kilo Juliet 4, Romeo Echo Zulu.
Yeah, I would move it. Where were you, 3 or 4?
Yeah, I would move it. Where were you, 3 or 4?
Roger.
Which one?
Which one?
I was a 3, and then we went down to a 2. Now I'm back to a 3.
Yeah, I would run it to 3. You still have a good dynamic range there, plenty of audio, and so I would just run it there, and just to make a note to yourself that you want to run at that proximity to microphone, Roger.
That proximity to microphone, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Yeah, I've got a desk mic, actually a good desk microphone, and it doesn't pick up as much background noise. I mean, a hand mic, but I just really like having a desk microphone. But I have tried the hand mic before. It sounds exactly the same with the hand mic, except no background noise.
Yes, exactly, and that's why folks that are comm channel use hand mics because they're in situations that they can't tell exactly where they're going to be all the time, and they want to be heard. It's important for them to be heard. So a hand mic, you will always be able to control your voice being heard maximum with a hand mic in all kinds of environments, right? Even the siren blasting next to you,
Right, even the siren blasting next to you,
Yeah, Roger, Roger. Yeah, they're not so sensitive to all the background noise.
Well, it's again, it's element to projection point, proximity to microphone. The closer you are, the better your signal-to-noise ratio will be. So I think, gosh, Floyd, I think we got it there, sir. If you, again, want to hear your audio, go to YouTube, call it a search, KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 4/2/21, and give us a couple of days to get it up, Roger.
And give us a couple of days to get it up, Roger.
Roger, Jim. Maybe next Friday I'll try the hand mic on there and we'll play with it a little bit. Thanks again. KJ4REZ 73.
Roger, Floyd, 73, sir. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.